This is DIGM 2350, and we are looking at lab assignment 5. I don't know why it has an A in it. So we'll be doing all these things in it. Maybe with a little bit of modification. So follow me. Okay. So go ahead and launch Illustrator, and we will need, how many artboards do you think we need? Maybe 3. Okay, so we're gonna start new document with 3 artboards. Go ahead and name it already so you have it. _W _W. Now, if you're Monday class, please do not put W. I've seen that some of you have done that, so please don't use M1 or M2. And 3 artboards. Then, okay, just notice that every time I show you something, I will pause. So I do it, then you do it, okay? That way, when I show you again, you will not be doing it at the same time, so you don't miss it. So on artboard 1, we will go ahead and create, if you're looking at that assignment, top of it, we will create several circles. So before I start, I will set up my fill and stroke. So no stroke. And then the fill, we will select like a teal color from your, you can even do, let me see, where's my side? I may have to reset my workspace. You can go ahead and, if you need to reset painting, go ahead and reset it so you have everything available. It's not really a good teal shade, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to select this green here, and then just draw out with ellipse, L for ellipse, and draw out a big circle. Now, if you want to make it perfect, you can, doesn't matter. And then we will use this one and duplicate it, paste it. Okay, change the shade of this one to a different color, maybe like grayish shade. Make it smaller. Okay, so you have 2 of them now. And then we will create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small circles, perfect circles with ellipse again, and then will be blue. You can do either medium blue or dark blue. So 6, I would do 1 and just duplicate it, okay? Duplicate it, Command C, and then Command Shift V, paste it in place and move it. So Command Shift V will paste it in place. Something like this. Okay. Need one more. I will kind of work around them. I do want to have some space in the bottom, so make sure your circles are not too big. Align them. Okay. So we kind of look at transparency before, but you do have more options under, you know, transparency and opacity and so on. So if I want to make this fade into the background, what can I do? How can I do it? It's easy, right? I can just go into my opacity option on top, and I can minimize this, make it more transparent. That's what I can do. So that's, but notice opacity has more options. It brings up the transparency panel, so you can click on it. And then there are some options here. We will look at them in more detail in a minute. Let me zoom in. Okay. Now, what these are, and under transparency, those are the blending modes. Okay, the blending modes. And blending modes is how, you know, separate colors interact with each other. So the first 3, like if you darken, multiply, color burn, make something darker. Then the ones light, screen and color dodge, lighter, and then you have mix of different kinds as well. So if I change this, the middle, so my opacity is 85, everybody there? 85 here. And if I change that opacity the blending mode. Let's say I'm gonna do color burn. Let's see what happens. Kind of faded, it's gone. So it may not be the best one for this, right? Try the one on top, multiply. You see how it became darker? Multiply. Okay, so it's a little bit darker. Now we can go through them, kind of get an idea what they do. Darken is kind of the same in this case. Lighten makes it lighter. And you can see the difference on them. Screen. Not really too much happening. Then look overlay, kind of change the shade, right? Went from gray to bluish, so it looks at the color, both colors, and kind of combines those. Soft light, hard light, makes it more contrast. Now, all these will translate into Photoshop. If you ever work with Photoshop, you work with blends. The difference makes a big difference. Exclusion, and I gave you information on Blackboard to know the differences between them. Hue just works with color, okay, which is interesting because hue and color is actually the same name, but they act differently. Saturation, you see how all of these are kind of similar, okay. So go ahead and just leave it on the last one, luminosity, so it's kind of bright. Now here we have options like we can make a mask, which we won't do. We have isolating blending, so just specific object, and so on. So for now we're good with this one. Again, play with your opacity setting and lower it a little bit more. I will go down until maybe 60%. Okay, so make it more opaque. I mean, make it more transparent. Okay, next thing I want you to do with these, we will leave the one on top as it is, but the ones following it, I want you to change a few things. So we will go to opacity again, and we will work with the blend modes for these, okay? And we will do the first one. Let me see how multiply. Multiply doesn't do anything because I don't have any color behind it, so I may have to do, now I told you it works with two colors, right? So there has to be something behind here for this to work. Right now, we're dealing with artboard. Artboard, pretend that it doesn't have any color, nothing, okay? So we can go ahead and create a box to put behind here, okay? Go ahead and create one. And you can do it any color you want. Kind of like this, let's put it there. Maybe not this color. Let us try to let's do black, okay? And then send it to back. So right click, arrange, send to back. Now right now they're not very visible. Maybe it looks better on the projector on my screen. Okay, good. Sure it fits. Alright, so we will go ahead and start with the second circle. Select that one. And then again we will go into our opacity options and try multiply. You see what happened? It's there now. It went away, right? Try darken. Same thing. You notice how that became part of that background? So why is it not, why do you think it's just blending with the black? Because that's the darkest you can go. Black is black. Would the same thing happen if I change my background color? I'm gonna go back to normal mode. If I change this black to a different maybe shade of gray, you think same thing would happen? Go ahead and select 50% gray, so black, okay, black. Okay, do that, because I want you to see something. And then select that second circle again, opacity, and now try multiply and darken and all the, I mean, it's the same thing pretty much. But now multiply, you can see it, right? Because black is the darkest you can go. So once you use black for your darkening, it will just go away. Make sense? Okay. So it's, so you know you really want to have color when it comes to these. All right, next one. We will go lighter, so do lighten. Makes it white. Next one. So the fourth circle. And let's see screen. Oh, screen is the same thing. Let me see. Yeah. Then let's go ahead and do overlay. I need to go back to previous. So it's white, right? Just white? How is yours looking? Okay. Well, then do soft light. Try that one. Now the next one. Hard light. There'll be very slight change on this one. There'll be very minimal, but there is a change. And then the last one, we can choose any of, well, if you do difference, look at what happened. Difference, the last one. Okay. I'm not gonna do any of the other ones because they go away. We go back to my difference. So I'm gonna go through them. Normal mode. Okay, this one was multiply. Go back. This one is lighten. Next one is overlay. Let me pull this. Yeah. Soft light. Hard light. And the last one was difference. Okay, those are the ones I would like you to have. So now, again, when you play with this, I want you to select your final color. I want you to select the same one I have, because we will see the difference on like a lime green. So this is the next one, the 20% cyan. So you can see how it becomes more visible. It's pretty bright, but you can kind of see how those colors blends work. Okay, so go ahead, let us save our document. Put it under your documents and save. Okay, the next part that we will do is we will create, we will do the same background. We will fill it with pattern. So we can divide this into maybe 2 pieces. So go ahead and select a rectangle. Make sure it will have enough space because you need 2 of them, but don't duplicate it yet. So just create a rectangle. And what we will do with this rectangle, we will fill it with some pattern. And I want you to go under the libraries for pattern. One way to go is here, right here under the swatch library menu. Okay. And under swatches, you should have patterns. Now go ahead, you can go nature. And let's choose animal skins. Let's connect with the wild side. Animal side, alright? And you can choose any of the animal skin ones. So you can go through them, whichever one you want. You can select it. Okay, I don't care which one you do. Alright, doesn't matter. Now, one thing I want you to do, because we only work with 1 layer so far, okay? So under your layers, I want you to move this one, create a new one and move this layer, this one into a new layer, okay? So go into layers right now, window. If you don't have your layers showing, there should be, we're like on the bottom here. Go ahead to window layers and open it up. And then create a new layer, right? And go ahead, copy or cut this box into that new layer. So Command X. We just told you to create a new layer, but practice. And then make sure you select layer 2 and then paste that in there. So make sure it has its own layer, okay? Now guess what? You're gonna do it again for the new layer. Same thing. Actually, yeah, let's do it again. So create a new one. You can duplicate it if you want to. Under layer 2, you can duplicate layer. So you should have 3 layers now. So I will change the color of mine layers because I have 2 of them red and I want it to be a different shade. So I'm going to do magenta. So that's why I know which layer I'm on. Go ahead and name them. We're going to call this one blend blending. Okay, so the first one will be blending. Second one we will name clipping mask. And the third one will be opacity mask. Okay. Now go ahead and lock your blending mode. And for now, lock your clipping mask so we can move the opacity mask down because we don't want them overlap. So I lock my blending and clipping mask layers and I just move my opacity down. Okay. So you should have something like this. So far so good? Go ahead. So I told you because I moved it, I locked it, but right now let us unlock the clipping mask. Make sure it's highlighted because you want to be on that layer, the clipping mask layer. If you are on the wrong one, it will not work. So if you get paranoid, because I do, because layers don't act the same as I want them, I wish they did, I will lock my opacity mask now. So the only layer you should have available is the clipping mask. So with that, go ahead and type, we're going to type the word animal. Animal. You can see my word. I'm going to make it white in a minute. So we'll make the fill white. And we will make it bigger and bold. Okay, so find some type that is big and bold. It will not show well if it's not. It needs to be big and bold, and you can make it bigger too. Something like this is good. Okay. Add it. To clipping mask, it is important which object is on top of which one, right? If we want to clip this animal skin to our text, the animal skin has to be behind, which is kind of strange because sometimes in like Photoshop it might be the reverse. So if I have it now, I need to select both of them. So go ahead, select both, the animal skin behind it and the text. Select them. Okay. Then navigate right. There's an option here, but what I like to go is right on that pull down menu for my layer, clipping mask layer. It says a few things, right? Like you don't need to duplicate anything yet. Like make the clipping mask. Make clipping mask. Click on that, and you should have a clipping mask like this. So when you're looking at clipping mask, one thing you've noticed, if I move my text around, and I can move my text, hold on, me, go in it. You see what happens? I can actually move my text inside of it. So the text acts, really it's unveiling what's behind. Okay, and important to know what black and white means. Okay. So there's my clipping mask. And you can do objects, you can do with text and objects. Just make sure you have two. And it's better rule to have them two in a separate layer. Okay? And that's the clipping mask. So with that clipping mask, we have another thing to do. We have the opacity mask. And you kind of see a difference between them a little bit. So go ahead and lock clipping mask. Now if you fall behind on the clipping mask, follow me on opacity mask. It's better to be behind on one thing than everything. So follow me on that one. Unlock the opacity mask layer. You can use the same text or you can do a different one. And we will also call it animal because I'm very original. My names. I'm tapped out on names. And go ahead and make it white and fill white. Okay. So it's be visible. So we just repeated it. Now you can have always duplicated text too.